Welcome back, focused learners. Okay, so today in this explainer, we're going to dive right into distilling 16 distinct chess tactics into a cohesive, step-by-step journey to mastering the board. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to really sharpen that competitive edge, we've extracted the core concepts from the source material to give you the exact visual and tactical tools you need to level up your game. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're looking at 4 distinct phases today. 1. Essential beginner tactics. 2. Manipulating the board. 3. The art of sacrifice. And 4. Endgame mind games. Basically, this progression is going to take you on a journey from basic geometry all the way to advanced psychological warfare. All right, starting us off with part 1, essential beginner tactics, the real foundation of strategy. First up, we have the fork. Put simply, this is a tactic where a single one of your pieces attacks 2 of your opponent's pieces at the exact same time. And naturally, you want the targets you're attacking to be of higher value than the piece you're hitting them with. Now, the knight's unique, jumping, L-shaped movement definitely makes it the undisputed king of forks. I mean, it strikes from such weird, unexpected angles. But keep in mind, literally any piece on the board, a bishop, a queen, a rook, even a humble pawn or your king can pull off a fork. Moving right along, we've got the pin. Say you want to trap your opponent and place them in a highly uncomfortable situation. You attack a lower value piece, but that piece is effectively paralyzed. Why? Because if it moves, it would expose a much higher value piece sitting right behind it on the same line.
Now, what's truly fascinating here is the 1-2 punch of how pins actually operate within the rules. A relative pin means moving the pinned piece is theoretically possible, but strategically, it's just plain dumb, because you'd immediately lose a high-value piece. But an absolute pin, on the other hand, well, that leverages the actual rules of chess. Moving the piece is literally illegal, because doing so would expose the king to check. You are literally weaponizing the rulebook against your opponent.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next tactic, the skewer. When you compare them, a skewer is basically the exact opposite of a pin. Instead of trapping a weak piece to hide a strong one, you attack a high-value piece directly, most commonly the king. You force that king to run away, which then exposes the lower-value piece sitting behind it, allowing you to just scoop it right up. Leveling up now to Section 2, manipulating the board, geometry, and pressure. Let's quickly run through these 4 board manipulation tactics. First, a discovered attack is when you move a piece to clear a sniper path for another piece behind it. If that path targets the king, boom, it's a discovered check, which can easily win you a queen. Then we have the double check, moving a piece to check the king and simultaneously clearing a path for a second piece to check the king. This is absolutely lethal because, well, you can't block 2 attacks at once. The king is totally forced to move. Next is deflection, which is simply bumping a defending piece off of a critical square, often by harassing it with a simple pawn. And finally, overloading. This is forcing a single defending piece to protect way too many pieces at once until it inevitably just breaks under the pressure. Okay, take a breath and picture the board. Imagine a critical weak square on h7. You've got intense pressure bearing down on it with your queen and rook, but the checkmate is being defended by a single, stubborn enemy knight. The burning question is there any way to remove that horse immediately? Well, the answer lies in our next tactic, remove the defender. You can simply just take that knight with your rook. Now, normally, trading a rook for a knight is a terrible idea, since a rook is worth more points. But here, your opponent actually cannot take your rook back, because doing so would instantly allow you to deliver checkmate. It's a complete subversion of normal piece values. All right, get ready for the pronunciation on this next one. As the source material playfully puts it, swish and zoo. The real term is swish and zug, a brilliant German term meaning an in-between move. So, imagine your opponent attacks your queen and you attack theirs. They fully expect you to just capture their piece and they'll capture yours right back. But instead of playing into their hands, you throw in a surprise check, or maybe capture a totally different piece first. You make their king awkward and easy to attack, gaining a massive tempo or material advantage right in the middle of their planned sequence. It's a real game changer. Moving into part 3, the art of sacrifice, giving to get. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we categorize these mind-bending sacrifices. A clearance sacrifice simply throws a piece away to clear a physical path for a deadly attack. An attraction sacrifice is arguably the most aggressive. You sacrifice a piece purely to drag another piece, specifically the king, out into a vulnerable open square for a checkmate.
And then there's the desperado sacrifice, which is all about maximizing a lost cause. Focusing strictly on the math of that desperado sacrifice, look at this. 2 instead of 3. If your piece, say a knight worth 3 points, is hopelessly trapped and guaranteed to be captured, you don't just accept it and move something else. No way. You use that trapped piece to capture an enemy pawn on the way down. Sure, you lose the piece, but by taking a pawn with it, you technically only lose 2 points of material instead of a full 3. It is absolutely brilliant damage control. Let's put you in the driver's seat for a devastating mid-game pattern called the Greek gift sacrifice. Here's how it plays out. Step 1. Your bishop purposefully sacrifices itself by capturing on the h7 square, completely blowing open the king's pawn shield. Step 2. Your knight immediately jumps in with a check. And step 3. Your queen slides up, threatening a deeply dangerous, often completely unstoppable checkmate. It is a highly aggressive, incredibly satisfying tactical sequence.
And finally, we reach level 4, endgame mind games, psychological warfare.
First up here is under promotion. So, your pawn has marched all the way down to the end of the board. Normally, you'd promote to a queen, right? But here's the catch. If you blindly promote to a queen and just wait for your opponent to resign, you might suddenly get hit with a stalemate, and the game ends in a draw. To actually win the game and avoid trapping your opponent's king with no legal moves, you sometimes have to intentionally under-promote to a rook or a knight. Next up is a deeply frustrating concept called zugzwang. This is an endgame situation where absolutely every legal move your opponent can play will worsen their position. I mean, they would literally be better off skipping their turn, but chess rules demand they make a move. You can force this by using careful waiting moves with a piece like a bishop, seamlessly passing the turn back to your opponent and forcing them to basically ruin their own setup. But what if it's your turn and any move you make ruins your own position? Enter triangulation. This is an incredibly advanced geometric trick. Step 1, you move your king in a small triangular pattern. Step 2, by traveling in a triangle, you move an odd number of squares. And step 3, you arrive back at the exact same position you started in, but because it took 3 moves, you've essentially lost a tempo. You have brilliantly faked a zugzwang and seamlessly handed the catastrophic turn back to your opponent. Taking a quick pivot to a surprising data point, straight from the source material, according to the stats, only 3% of viewers are actually subscribed, while 97% are unsubscribed. So, if you've enjoyed this explainer and loved breaking down these tactics, I highly encourage you to join that elite 3% and hit subscribe. All right. You now have 16 distinct tools to dismantle your opponent, ranging from the fundamental geometry of forks and pins to the psychological torture of an endgame zugzwang. The concepts are out there, the board is set, and the pieces are waiting. So the only question left for you as a focused learner is, how will you master the board today?